So with that, I'd like to hand over now to Finsmart, Sotiris.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Suzanne. Thank you very much. My name is Sotiris Manderis. I'm the CEO of Finsmart. I'm here with my co-founder, Guillaume Petitgat. Our mission is to transform debt capital markets by delivering data-led digital solutions for banks, issuers, and investors. A few numbers about debt capital markets. I'm not sure how many people understand or know or have some experience. Debt capital markets is a very important part of our economy. It's where the corporates and financial institutions will go and borrow money, issue bonds. You can see $5 trillion worth of bonds issued on an annual basis, 35,000 transactions. These are numbers from Bloomberg, by the way. We have more than 400 banks involved and more than 4,000 issuers active on an annual basis. These are numbers, this market is quite stable. These numbers are on average for the past 3 years. So, interest rates go up, inflation goes up, companies still need to go and borrow money, still need to go and issue bonds. So these numbers are pretty much stable, whatever happens in the economy. You would expect that a market like that would be super automated. Actually, what you have is more that kind of image, still pen and paper, manual processes, data very fragmented, communication not where it should be, high risk and costly. What we want to do is we want to push this into the digital era where you have things automated, centralized, systematic. We believe and we can see the transformation in debt capital markets is vital. Why this is, just a few examples. The fees that the banks are making from the transactions, they're under pressure. They've lost 20% in the past 5 years. It's going actually down. They need to do something about their cost base. So they need to automate. They need to make better use of their data. The second thing is that the regulators coming in, looking at what they're doing, how they're doing it. It's an interesting number, 1.8 billion just for Q4 2023. I think it was 7 banks that got fined for using WhatsApp. Which means actually 2 things. First of all, that the banks and their clients need to communicate, but they don't have the tools in place to do that. Still very archaic in how they share their data. And the other thing is that we have tens of FTEs time wasted every year because they still share data through emails, sometimes on the phone, sometimes data gets lost. A bond transaction would look something like that. On the bank side, still pen and paper. I mean, you would be amazed to find that they still take notes on a piece of paper. The data, this data will never go anywhere, will never get aggregated. The data is lost. Constantly compiling data from spreadsheets. I think the analysts on the desk, their favorite pivot table, because this is what they do with spreadsheets. The time spent on actually compiling this data is really more spent on actually cleaning data, aggregating data, then evaluating the data, and a lot of manual processes. On the issue side, even the infrastructure is not there. 100% dependency on the banks. So, as you can see at the bottom, fees under pressure, talent and business attrition, insufficient data and fragmented comms. What do we need to do? We have a solution. Our solution is DealPro. DealPro actually is the platform, is the ecosystem that brings together the banks and the issuers. On the bank side, the data becomes much more systematic. Everything in one place. You have your data, you can access analytics in one click. On the issuer side, the infrastructure is there. You can communicate, you can compare, you can see the data live on when the deal is happening. So what we're trying to do is actually bring not only and automate the workflow, which is quite manual right now, but also systematize, if you want, the data and the analytics. And there's a lot of focus on AI right now, making sure we have generated insights for the bankers and the issuers as the deal happens, something that is not there right now. And at the same time, provide that in a very secure and robust manner. We have the right cloud infrastructure, and which is actually encrypted end-to-end. Why use DealPro? Because it's cheap, right? At less than 1% of the fees that the banks make per deal, we believe we can actually save for a top 20 bank up to 7 million a year. And we believe we can actually help them add to their deal flow by at least 15%. DealPro safeguards against all the regulatory problems that currently exist. We have our own monitor kind of chat for exchanging information between the banks and the issuers. And we have a lot of functionality that creates a much better relationship and it actually transforms the user experience. And the third thing is our data module that we actually released a couple of months ago that brings a few things together. Again, access to reliable data that the banks and the issuers haven't got yet, and actually analytics that give the bankers and the issuers a lot of contextual information that, again, is mainly over the phone or is actually over some kind of chat functionality. Guillaume, you want to go through this one?
Happy to. I'm the co-founder. We're very complementary. I used to run a DCM desk. Satiris used to run digital transformation. Why invest in Finsmart? Clearly, it's the key slide not to get wrong tonight. I think, firstly, our product is proven. We have one client. We have a second band that's imminent, fingers crossed, before the end of the year. It does take time, but we're getting there. And we have a third one who's ongoing with a trial. We do have a further sales funnel, but we don't want to put everything on the slide. These are the 3 concrete banks that we're targeting in the next quarters. Secondly, first mover advantage. We are on our niche, the only fintech out there. Doesn't mean that there are not other fintechs that are complementary upstream and downstream from us, but in what we do, in what we automate workflow and data, we are the only guys there. Founding team, it's a space, as people will know, when you know bankers, they're quite specific animals, not necessarily the one the people you want to talk to. In order to talk to them, you need to be from that space. You need to speak the language. You need to know when you call them, when they're upset, when they're in a good mood, when they're chatty, when they want a beer, or when they want to complain about their miserable lives. So therefore, we come from that space. We spent 60 years together with our advisors in that space. We know how to speak to them. We know how to understand them. That leads me to the next point, created network. It's a community. You need to be part of the community. People we see our name say, yes, we know you used to be at HSBC. We've done a deal together, if not directly, indirectly. We sort of speak, eye to eye and have this good trust. And I think trust is important in the banking world, considering, they generally are a little bit paranoid. Finally, we do have a strategic plan. We do know where we want to go with this business. We speak to the banks when we build our product. We speak to the banks when we're building it. And once we've built it, to make sure it matches their need, we know where we're going. We know what the new markets are. We don't have the time to expand on this, but happy on the Q&A.
And just to add to what Guillaume said, that the founding, the two of us plus our CTO have worked together for a number of years before actually we launched Finsmart. The last slide, because we're pitching for investment, 500K to valuation of 6 million. This is under EIS. The investment is to actually help us expedite the onboarding of the client. So we'll actually add more functionality. We'll add on the technical and sales kind of team. And also we will launch DealPro for issuers, and we're planning to do that early next year. So what we're planning to have by end of next year is 6 banks live on the platform. And also with the issuer side of things, we want to have our first 10 issuers. This means actually 2 things. As you know, we're a B2B fintech, sales cycle longer than a B2C one, as we all know, but definitely on the issue side, onboarding of the product is much faster than on the banking side. So there's a little bit of hedge there getting on the banking side, but also getting on the issuer side, and the different commercials that happy to go in more detail on a one-to-one basis. 500K, we have 15% already committed. We're looking for the rest. Here's our contact details. Happy to answer any questions. Thank you very much.
Well done, both of you. So let's open up for questions. Who wants to ask the first one? Claire, please.
Thank you, great presentation. Can I just ask in terms of competitors, someone like a DealLogic, how does that fit in? And just if I could just have a second, in terms of things like blockchain and asset tokenization, how does this sort of fit into potentially a new world as well?
Thank you. Thank you very much for your question. There are some established kind of players in the market, DealLogic and iPro, but they mainly actually look at league tables on the DealLogic side, and also they are on the equity capital markets, not so much on the debt capital markets. In debt capital markets, there's still a gap in terms of the fintechs operating there. There is a consortium of American banks, but looking onto the public side, not on the private side, that we're actually concentrating on our side. So there is complementarity in what is happening, and we believe that we can grow quite fast and complementing others in this kind of market. In terms of blockchain and tokenization, I don't know if anyone follows, but commercially we're not there yet. I think the hurdles that we see, they're more on the regulatory side, fragmentation on the legal side, especially within Europe, where digital assets are defined in different ways across the different kind of countries. We definitely support blockchain, but the banks, the syndicate and debt capital markets does need a solution now. So when you go and speak to them, they will tell you, blockchain, yeah, there's someone there to speak about it, about the future, but I need something now, and we offer a solution for the present. Thank you very much.
Great response. Another question. Yes, please, Tafash.
Happy to address. I think on the bank side, yes, they like the magic sauce. Yes, they like to be opaque. We're not here to make it all transparent marketplace and have everything transparent to everyone. We're just here to take the recipe of the magic sauce from pen and paper to nice data onto our system, which is clear and easy for the bankers to use. So a lot of people would ask us, are you revolutionizing the industry? No, we're not. They don't want things to change black and white one day to the next. They want a platform to help them evolve step by step, which is what we're doing. So our clients are the banks. We know the language, we know what we sell to them, and we never face the, hold on, you're taking my job away, this is not what we want, you're making it transparent, we don't. We're here to help take away from a notebook, and I remember my boss having one of these big cupboards with hundreds of notebooks for every year, hiding in there, and he was very protective. So I did this deal 6 years ago, he turned the page and looked for the deal. Bring it onto a platform, analyze it, workflow, audit compliance, all friendly. So these are our clients. On the other side, we have the issues. Our platform works for the issuer from the big one to the small one, as long as they issue bonds on the capital market. Could be the ones that do a bond a year. You need the data because you do one, you can't mess it up. Could be the ones that do one a week. It's because you do one a week that you need to save that basis point. That data will allow you to do and therefore save money for your shareholders, etc. So two types of client, all of them on the issuer side, the banks on the other side, sort of a natural hedge to the market, to the company.
That's a great response. Yes, one more question for the team. Yes, please.
So
well-known fact that equity markets are much more transparent, much more automated than debt markets. So it's a great area to target. Just, I'm curious why this hasn't happened before. Not banks not being particularly interested in more transparency. This has been a no problem for years.
Yes, that's a good question, and we get asked about that a lot. I think it's a combination of things. First of all, it's only recently that the fees that the banks are getting started getting compressed, which means that the banks need to do something about it. You cannot have the same kind of cost structure that you had 10, 15 years ago. The second thing is that when we speak to a bank, the second kind of meeting is with the juniors on the desk. So there's a lot of attrition in terms of the talent there. They need to automate things to keep people on the desk, to keep also the business and the clients, right? Again, this wasn't there a few years ago. And at the same time, there's a lot of competition from other parts of the bank. These guys need to modernize, they need to digitalize, and they bring their cost base to align with the other parts of the investment bank. So there's a few things happening right now, and as Guillaume said, there's other fintechs in this space, not directly competing, but in this space, which actually creates a lot of momentum. And I think the last thing is that the issuers themselves are asking for a better way of doing deals that, again, wasn't there a few years ago. So it's a number of things happening at the same time.
Perfect. Well done. Thank you very much.
Thank you.